And we're going to start with hitting wizard JD Martinez, who just came off a resurgent all-star season with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's still looking for a home in the 2024 season. So, Taylor, where do you see JD Martinez playing in 2024?
Being a veteran DH, I think he's one of those guys that can kind of just hold out as long as he needs to, because his demand also goes up based on spring training injuries. And with the amount of experience he has and the fact that he's not playing in the field, like, he doesn't need that much time to ramp up. If I had to take a guess, I would just say he's going to sign a one-year deal with somebody like the Mets or the Angels, because they're the teams that will pay him that much. With the Mets, they just don't really have that guy that you need to slot in as the DH. Like with the Angels, I'm kind of skeptical, because they're one of those teams that kind of needs to leave that spot open, because they've got Mike Trout, and it's like they're going to want to give him some days off. It wouldn't make a ton of sense for them, but also they're the type of team that would pay for a guy like that, and having it not make much sense. So I think the Mets are probably a safe bet for him on a one-year deal.
Yeah. I'm going to get to that. I also agree. I like the Mets as a good bet for JD to go. But first of all, listen, all these guys that we're going to discuss besides JD, I'm bringing up the Yankees just as a warning. I have to do it. They're actually a fit for all these guys besides JD. But for JD, it's not a fit. Obviously, we have Stanton clogging up the DH hole.
Too many guys plugging up that spot.
Yeah, and if he could still play outfield, we got too many outfielders, and it's just not going to work. So he's definitely not going to be Yankee. But second of all, as another aside, okay, if any of these guys do decide to go to the Angels, their careers are over. Obviously, they'll be making a lot of money playing baseball. That's every kid's dream. When you're a kid, you want to make money playing baseball. But we will forget about all of these players ever existing, because that franchise is such a dumpster fire. So I'm literally not even going to mention them as a destination, because I don't want to wish that evil upon those guys. I do not want to wish the Angels evil upon any of these free agents. So stay away from the Angels, although I do wish they take as much money as they can. I just want them to do that, not with the Angels. Okay, so a few teams that I would like him on. Okay, the Marlins need JD Martinez. Okay, the Marlins need him. Right now, that lineup, when you look at the Marlins lineup, it looks pretty bad. Okay, but you plop a guy like JD in there, and it makes it look at least solid. Okay. Plus, they need to replace Soler's production. I think JD would do that. I think he would drive in Luis Ariz a lot if he was in that lineup. So I think that would be a good spot for him. Also, like you mentioned, Taylor, I think the Mets are probably the best fit for him right now. DJ Stewart right now is in their DH hole, and he's had some good stretches in the MLB. But you look at that lineup 1 through 9 with JD Martinez in it, you're like, okay, that's a really good looking lineup with JD Martinez in there. Yeah. So I think that would be probably the best landing spot for him. If I had to put money on a landing spot for him right now, I think it would be the Mets. But if he wants to compete for a title, how about a team that just won the title? How about the Texas Rangers, Taylor? Now, I don't know if they want to spend any of their money. They've already spent a lot of money, so this may be a completely meaningless discussion. But a lineup of guys who get on base and drive in runs, enter JD Martinez. Okay, right now, their DH is Wyatt Langford. Obviously, as Rangers fans know, he's a top 5 MLB prospect, okay? He's been impressing in spring training, and he's off to a really good start, and he's got a good shot to make the roster. And if they acquire JD, maybe that makes it tough for him to get a spot. Maybe they got to start him in AAA, but they can always move their other top prospect, Evan Carter, to center, maybe play Langford in left, and then they have Leody Taveras, who may have been a top 10 center fielder in baseball last year, either as a 4th outfielder in case of injury, which is a huge luxury to have, or as a trade piece to go get more pitching, which obviously they have a lot of injuries to their rotation right now, and then try to make another World Series run that way. So I don't think that one's going to happen, but I think that would work best for him as far as a situation where he could go win a title. And he could be in a really, really productive offensive lineup. That would be scary to look at if JD Martinez is in there. So I think the Mets are probably the best bet, but I think I would like to see him on the Rangers the most.
There are so many questions about the pitching side of things, and like that rotation is going to change so much over the course of the year. If I were the Rangers and I had the choice of spending $14 million next year for JD, or spending a little bit more because you're going over the luxury tax either way. I think they're right up against it right now. Or spend a couple million more, maybe give out a longer term deal to Jordan Montgomery. I would lean towards just giving the money to Jordan Montgomery.
Sure.